Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call-in show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hello, everyone. Somehow I have the old statement from Patrick there. So, how are you doing? Hopefully, you all have had a, good last week, maybe a good start to this week. Welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show, where we answer questions about Scrum and Agile, and we just kind of keep it moving from that point. So if you have some questions, get yourself queued up. Just so you know, you have the ability to phone in, call in. You have the ability to join the show or ask questions in the comments. Either way works. Tonight's topics is going to be this destroys the Scrum Master, and it's gonna be really, really simple. I'm not going to make it really complicated. I'm probably going to give you the answer in the beginning, and then we'll just talk through some examples at that point. So let's talk about the agenda, how we work at this show. First 5 minutes, we'll just kind of make sure that we are good to go here. Everybody that's here, say hi, speak, I want to give you a shout out. So please say hi. So, and then we can exchange a little bit, talk to each other a little bit. And then I know that you're in the house. So welcome to all the people who come on a regular. I always appreciate you. So looking forward to what we do today. We'll talk about our topic for 10, 15 minutes. Normally, we'll open the floor at, 15 to 20 minutes after. And that's at the point, when we jump and start talking about the topic, you want to join the call in. If you want to call in, it is not a complicated process. All you need to do is just take the link and join us on the particular link. And I always drop in the chat. So I'm dropping in the chat right now in terms of the locations. So I'm going to do that as we speak to make sure you all have access to it. So I'm doing that. Now, that being said, you see my background is a little bit different. I'm actually in Chicago. If you look right here, the Hamilton Luger School of Global and International Studies. My youngest daughter, I just dropped off to college yesterday. So, big deal, So I came all the way up to Chicago to do that, and I'm pretty much at my aunt's house. So, and this is a background I set up when the pandemic happened because I was here for a while. So we're back to that. So my technology is a little bit different, but that's cool. I had a class this week. Actually, next week I had an ACSM, an Advanced Certified Scrum Master. So if you're looking to join for that class, come on in. We got a lot of people in it, so come on and join us. This weekend I got a CSM class. I think I put all those prices, I'm like CSM, CSPOs, I've dropped in the 500, 550, something like that, because I'm kind of done with the hardships and just lowering the price low enough for people to get at it. Let's see. Other than that, CSM this weekend, ACSM next week. It's my last week of this dang on, not my class program, but at least a quarter. So I'm wrapping up my quarter this week. Yesterday I had such a big assignment, dude. It was ridiculous. So that being said, let me go ahead and say hi to a couple people here that I see, that I normally see. I'm going to say, hey, Patrick, as usual, love seeing you around, brother. It's always an appreciation seeing you join. That's definitely a good thing, and always good, my brother. Then in terms of LinkedIn, let's see. Thanks for the show. I think that's Manisha. Manisha. Again, you all are welcome to ask questions. I've dropped the link, but just know in time. There's no one in the green room right now, so we're looking pretty good. Also see Jennifer. Normally see Jennifer in the house. How you doing, Jennifer? How's it going? Let's see. I got Doughton. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a nice logo for your company there. I like that. I like that. I really do. So that's good. So that being said, it's just a good night. So here's the deal. Let's go ahead and start having a conversation here, so then we're good to go. Just if you don't know, that's the actual link to the if you want to join us on the call in. So that being said, we will answer questions. As long as you all need me to, I'm good to go with that. I ain't got nothing else to do. Really, I don't. So just so you know, I really don't. I'm here for you. But let's kind of start having a conversation, okay? The topic of the night is this destroys a Scrum Master. And, sometimes I like to write a little bit something down so and then I can be a little bit more prepared. I didn't write anything down because I just have one statement that I would make in terms of what I've seen destroy Scrum Masters time and time again. And to really give you the answer in the beginning, and then we can just talk about it, I think is status quo. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, but status quo, that place where you're okay with where you are, or where the organization is, or where anybody is at, because at least the great Scrum Masters that I know, they are in the pursuit of perfection. They're not perfectionist, right? So they're not a person that expects perfect to happen or expects perfect to occur all the time. They're not those kind of people. So it's not perfectionism. So it's not anything like that. But status quo is people that really aren't on that steady pursuit of perfection. And being on that steady pursuit of perfection means that you're not perfect. It doesn't matter how much you know about Scrum. People are people, and people are going to make mistakes, and you make mistakes as a Scrum Master. You don't always give the best solutions in the world, but when you give a solution that's not so great, when you give a solution that doesn't work, when you make a statement to somebody and they don't quite hear you the first time the right way, that's an opportunity for you to improve, for you to improve. And I find so many Scrum Masters, it's ridiculous, that don't take the time to improve. I'll ask you all a question, right? A real simple question, not a complicated question. Um, Type in the chat for me. Anybody. What was the last book that you read? I'm talking about that is going to enhance your career here, that is going to make you a much better Scrum Master, Agile coach, product owner, whatever it is. What's that last book that you actually read? Hence the problem. Hence the problem. Always run into this problem again and again and again. Recently I reread Mike Cohn's book on estimation, just so I can bring the retro stuff back in. But what I've been reading lately has been studies, literal studies about team effectiveness. I'm studying team effectiveness because I want to make myself a much better Scrum Master. I want to take myself to the next level in being able to give people what they need, right? To help make teams much better, period. Okay? And the statement is, I've seen Scrum Master after Scrum Master, I kid you not, after knowing them for 7 years, not make a single improvement. So they're comfortable with status quo. They're comfortable with the things being the way that they are. And I say status quo because it's not just that they're not in a pursuit of perfection for themselves. They're not in pursuit of perfection for their team, the product owner, the organization as a whole. I understand that we're never going to get there. But when you get When you get stuck in status quo, to me, that's the death of a Scrum Master. That's the death of a Scrum Master. That's the death of an Agile coach. Curiosity is extremely important. Finding ways to make things right. Always pursuing perfection, but knowing that you're not going to reach it is how you kill off status quo. Because at the end of the day, a good servant leader has a characteristic of being disruptive. But you got to be disruptive to yourself first and foremost. If you're not disruptive to yourself, you run into huge issues. I mean, I'm looking here. I see Patrick Says The Drive by Dan Pink. Dan Pink has a book after that called Time, man. I would say read that book, Patrick. Seriously. It was a good read right there. I remember taking a picture with Dan Pink, and it was nice. We had won a prize at the Scrum Gathering or something like that, and we was able to go in the back room and have a conversation with him. I see The Ideal Team Player. I haven't read that one, but it sounds like that's one of them I would love to read. So it sounds very interesting. I don't like to advertise brands, but it is what it is. So that sounds like a good one. I know there are other Scrum Masters in here. I didn't see any other books. So now, here's my thought process, right? I got a lot of Scrum Masters in right now online that haven't read anything in the past month. Haven't read a single thing. Haven't done anything to improve themselves. This is a problem. It's a whole problem, okay? It's a whole problem. Hey, I'm going to say, hey there, Daniel from Brazil. It's been a long time since I've been to Brazil, man. I loved Brazil when I was with them, man. I absolutely loved Brazil. I enjoy Brazil a whole lot, okay? And then I see When Will It Be Done? Software Estimation, right? I haven't read that one, but that sounds like that's a good one, right? So, what are you doing to improve the craft? What are you doing to stay away or pull you out, pull yourself away from status quo is the question. If you don't do that, it's going to be a problem for you sooner or later. If you're satisfied, right? If you're satisfied with what you did, what you're doing right now, if you're satisfied with where you're at, just die on the vine, man. Just die on the vine. Because what is your team going to do with you? Your team is probably improving faster than you're improving. And they're going to, at some point, out-improve you or be much better than what you are. And that's a problem because it is your job to help them out. I have to throw this out here, man. I remember being in Brasilia, man. It was amazing. I mean, I think that was probably one of the first times I got on a big stage. Let me think about it. Yeah, because it was a PMI conference. I think that was the first time I got on a big stage, and that had to be 2013, 2014. It was a long time ago. But Daniel, I remember it. Trust me. I wish I could get a video of it. I wish I could video. I don't know. So anyway, like I was saying, it is a problem that I see, and I see it too often. Now, I guarantee you see the same thing with people. And what I would love for you to do in the chat for me is throw me some of those characteristics you see in Agile coaches and Scrum Masters that are stuck with status quo, that are satisfied with status quo. I see it all the time. And realistically, there isn't much that I can do about it. There isn't much that I can say about it, right? So look, Doden, I got you, Patrick Lencioni. I actually got certified in his something about 5 teams or something like that. The 5 dysfunctions, whatever. I think that's whatever it is. His red book. I got a little certification in at some point. I never was able to turn it into money, man. I really wasn't. I'm just telling you, I really wasn't. But that's okay. So anyway, the coaching Agile teams is a good one, right? Coaching Agile teams, that's a good one. Those are definitely classic Agile books. And classic Agile books are cool. But here's my question. Do some of y'all read beyond this Agile stuff? Do you? Because I try my best to be outside of the agile space. You realize other people have opinions and they have really, really amazing opinions. Do you realize that? Oh no. How does this camera look, y'all? Is camera all right? I'm not using my normal setup, so I'm over a little concerned about the clarity and everything else. It looks like it's fine though. It looks like it's great. Because I'm over here looking at y'all. Hopefully y'all looking back at me. So, like I said, realistically, status quo is probably the biggest death to a scrum master, and I see it more times than I should. And I hope that we decide to change that. We decide to change that at some point in the future. Now, that being said, I think we're going to leave the topic at that. I didn't want to spend a lot of time on this topic because my answer was just so clear. I thought about this a lot today. You know, what is that thing that destroys Scrum Masters? And time again, the best way I can sum it all up is status quo, like literally status quo. Them being satisfied with the exact position that they're in and not willing to change it, right? So it's just one of those things where you should be all over the place with grabbing knowledge. Patrick says an amazing thing here. Diversify your knowledge base always. Take a little bit from everywhere. And Patrick, I couldn't agree with that anymore. I couldn't agree with that anymore, brother. I really couldn't, because at the end of the day, it's like diversification of your finances. If one thing isn't a good thing, then you could do something else. You can do something else that is going to be helpful, right? And so, realistically, diversifying your knowledge is how you stay away from status quo. So, that being said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up the comment line now. So you can drop a comment in the chat if you have a question in reference to the topic, or if you have a question in general, or you're welcome to join me on the show. And if you want to join me on the show, then what you want to do is go ahead and jump on this link. I drop it in on LinkedIn. I'll drop it on YouTube too. Just join me on the link, and that's how you can join me to have a nice little conversation. So please do that if you have a question at all. Now we'll stay here as long as we need to. If we don't, then it's okay. My lighting is interesting because I'm using a lamp. I'm actually using a lamp. I normally have these fancy lights, but the lamp is turning out to be, okay. So that's definitely a good thing. So we actually have someone that's joining us. So we're gonna go ahead and take care. And then join us on the show. And there we go. Hey, how you doing, man? How's it going?
I'm good. I'm good. This is Dalton.
Golden, how you doing, man? Now you gotta center
I'm
yourself, man.
good.
Can you see yourself in the screen? You gotta center yourself, man, so I can see you. There you go. There you go. Now we better. Now we better, man. How you doing?
Well, very well, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing up this topic. This is a very, very great topic, I
Hmm.
must say. And the reason that you've actually given as the number one thing that kills Scrum Masters is extremely true. I can't,
Yeah.
I am 100% with you on that. And for Scrum Master that I've had the opportunity of coaching, of mentoring, and
Hmm.
even the ones that I'm also, training, I keep telling them you have to be hungry.
Yeah.
You have to be hungry.
Yeah.
You have to always be unsatisfied with where you're currently at right now.
Yeah.
Have a growth plan for yourself, right?
Hmm.
Have a growth plan for your team,
Yeah.
right? Give me a 90-day plan for yourself. The number
Hmm.
of books you've read, I need to know the books you plan to read. I need to
Hmm.
know the courses or the professional certifications you need to sit for, right?
Hmm.
I need to know what investment plan you have for yourself,
Yeah.
right? Not only in agile, but also in leadership,
Yep.
right? And that's why I'm big on leadership, right?
Hmm.
Anything leadership from Maxwell, Patrick Messini,
Yes.
and good guys, right? I'm big on leadership. I'm big on even understanding some basic technology, technical things,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
Nothing stops you from learning or
Mm.
from understanding what your developers are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily deep, right? But just getting a sense of that so that when you communicate
Yeah.
with them, there is a connection, there's a basis, right, for communication,
Yep.
right? You're not just talking and talking, trash or, or just,
Mm-hmm.
you're not able to connect with you. Let them actually look forward to connecting with you,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
Relating with you.
I
So
agree.
all of that would always make you disruptive because you're always
Yeah.
bringing in new ideas, fresh
Yes.
ideas, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that would set you up for great success,
It,
right?
it
So
does.
really, you are very spot on that. I just want to
Yeah,
encourage
no,
you
no,
with
no.
that.
I agree, and the reason, Dalton, the reason why I said status quo is because I didn't have any other way to describe it. Do you understand? It's like this whole bunch of things that
Yeah,
exist, and it all boils down to you're not willing to change yourself. You're not willing to make
yeah.
a movement. You're not hungry enough. You're not
They're
being
not hungry.
disruptive. It is all these different things that you just mentioned, which is at the just it's just and you look at people and then you just be like, well, why are you still why have I
Yeah,
gone and I've worked with this team for X and I've come back and I'm working with you and your mindset hasn't changed? You
yeah,
haven't really improved. You're still thinking the same exact thoughts that we were talking about before. And
yeah,
it's a plethora of things is the problem. And
yeah,
I just have no way, no better way to describe it, but you just kind of stuck with status quo. And it's just like, and when I tell you, Doden, I was thinking about this a lot, a lot in the past week. I mean, every
mm,
day I was thinking, okay, you know what I'm doing? I'm gonna come up with that list. I'm gonna come up with that big bang thing. And then I just sat down with myself today and just really thought about all the coaches and scrum masters that I've run into and what's the difference between them, myself, and then other coaches who I admire, like that I
mm,
see and they go make things happen, that I see and
yeah,
I actually want to listen to,
mm,
and I see that they're not stuck with status quo.
yeah,
It's
true.
just the easiest way for me to roll it up into something that can be understood
Mm,
in the easiest way. Because I didn't want to sit up here and let's make a top 10 list. It ain't no top 10. It's just you
yeah,
stuck with not making any movement. And
yeah,
maybe and here's the deal. Maybe people have a reason for that, right? Some people have just reached this place in their career where they're not interested in much change. And that's okay. Some people may have a family situation where it really is, I need to get paid and I don't need to take any risk. And I'm not angry at anyone for anything like that. I'm not at all. And I wouldn't hold it on to hold anybody, I wouldn't do anything to hold it against them. I wouldn't do anything to talk negative about them because their situation is their situation and I don't have the
mm,
right to judge them. I really don't. But if you're wondering why your career isn't changing, if you're
yeah,
wondering why people are passing you up, if you're wondering why people are going as consultants and going and blowing up in a different kind of way, my question is, it's likely you. It's likely you that's the problem. We tend to
yeah.
talk about all these issues and these different things, and at the end of the day, you know, you can be given a blessing, but normally with a blessing comes some work, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does. It
So if
does.
you don't do the work, do you get full
Mm-hmm,
benefit of the blessing?
mm-hmm,
And this is what I feel people don't understand. Maybe they don't realize. Maybe I could be lost with it, but it's just a lot of people really just get stuck, man. Um, and it's a whole problem. And and all these other topics, I spent 10, 20 minutes on it. This one is so depressing for me because I remember, man, I remember being at an organization, man, and people, guy came Scrum Master, and he was cool. I was mentoring him a little bit, and then I left the organization. Man, I came back 5 years later. This dude told me he didn't read a single book.
well,
I kid you not, man. This is literally what he said to me, man. I'm asking him questions, and just trying to gauge, like what kind of growth he's had, what has he done, and you know what? Man, it was crickets, man. It was crickets. He wasn't, it was not, it was, when I say it was nothing, it was nothing. And so, like with Bearded Eagle, you won't have contracts, man. And sometimes I'll go on site with a client because I like to go on site. I really do. I like to go and coach. And
Mhm.
man, whenever I have some people I work with, man, the first thing I do is get in the room with them and I say, look, here's a pen, here's a piece of paper with no books, no nothing. Teach me Scrum. Teach me Kanban. Tell me what
Great.
Agile is all about
Great.
from your perspective. That way I know the gap and I know how we can work together, right? And then if they're interested in me
Absolutely.
helping them fill in some gaps, or if I have some gaps, I'm going to ask them, look, please fill my lamp up with a little bit of oil, man. And so it's like,
Mm,
I'm trying to find what I can improve or how we can
mm,
work together better to get
yeah,
to the ultimate result that the client wants. But
yeah.
I tell you, man, when I say to you, there's so many people that come to this agile thing just thinking it's just about money, and that's it.
That's so far from the truth. It's not about the money. It's about transforming organizations, are transforming teams, transforming lives, right? And I
Yeah.
think, again, to your point, when people are not challenged
Mhm.
to improve themselves,
Mhm.
they find it difficult to generate that internally from within.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say this, even the agile coaches in organizations should challenge the scrum masters in those organizations to say,
I would say
give me
everybody should.
a plan.
Yeah, not just
Yeah,
don't
absolutely.
even think just the agile coaches, leadership. Man, if you're a developer on a team, challenge your scrum master.
Yeah,
Challenge your scrum master.
exactly.
There's
Exactly.
nothing about nobody saying you need to be disrespectful or anything like that. Just challenge them. Because when you do
Yeah,
challenge them, they're either gonna grow or they're gonna fold.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And my
Absolutely. You're
statement,
so right about it.
if you're gonna make them fold sooner versus later. Don't
Yeah.
wait for them to fold. Make them fold sooner. That way you get them out
Mm,
the way, and then you all can move on to doing great things. So it's really it was really, man, when I say to you, man, I was scratching my head today about this topic. I was really scratching my head about this topic because I'm just like, man, I just don't have enough, but man, I just need to be truthful with everybody that's here. Um, when I see y'all scrum masters, it's status quo that's killing you, man. When I see y'all agile coaches, it's status quo that's killing you. And again,
absolutely.
I'm not talking about the organization status quo. I'm talking about your status quo for
Yes.
yourself.
Mm.
So it's just a little bit different, man. So, man, I'm glad you came on the comment, man, because I wasn't feeling the love. Nobody's giving me the love out there.
Hey, Devon, we have so much love and respect for you, right? And I'm
Appreciate that.
really looking forward to really contributing more, into your program, into the things you do because you're doing a great job. You're doing
Man,
a
I
great job.
appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that, Dalton. And you know what,
Thank you
man?
so
Keep
much for
coming
having
on.
me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'll talk to you again. I say I appreciate you coming on first and foremost. And keep coming
Mm-hmm.
on, whether it's a comment or a question and stuff like that, because this exchange is the beauty of our community, right? And Dalton,
Absolutely.
let me say this to you, because I'm saying this to everybody else. For all of you all that are certified Scrum Masters, certified Scrum Product Owners, you're with the Scrum Alliance in any kind of way, you actually get a Scrum education unit for being here, right? So
Mm.
when you're going doing continuing education, when you work with a certified Scrum trainer in any kind of way, or work really in a Scrum related topic, this is what you do. So you can earn your SEUs this way. Okay. So Dalton,
Excellent.
I appreciate you, man. I'll talk to you soon, and
Absolutely.
thank you for the comments, man. Thank you for the encouragement. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'll connect with you again.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right. Yeah.
All
Bye
right.
now.
Bye bye.
Mhm.
Well, that was good. That was excellent. I think I'm going to bring someone else in onto the show as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Hey, man, how
Hey,
you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Caleb, we talked last time, didn't we? We was on the show
Yes,
recently.
yeah, we did. I was the one asking about Spring Zero last
Yeah,
week.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
implement any of that?
I did. I did.
Okay. How
And
did it go?
it's still on, and we're
Okay.
just focused on just building the backlog. And
Okay.
that leads me to my question today. And first
Okay.
of all, thank you for bringing up the point about continuous development and how
Yeah.
important that. I
Yeah.
really
It's
appreciate that.
extremely important, man. And I'm gonna say to you, man, always never forget to do a little bit. I mean, it's really we pour so much into other people as
Mhm.
agilists, as coaches in general. You need to take some time and pour some of that into yourself.
Yeah,
Literally,
yeah,
you have to. If you don't, you will not grow. You need to grow in this space because things are constantly changing. So, that being said, let's talk about your question, man.
absolutely. So my question is in relation to certain companies and teams trying to run a Kanban team,
Mm-hmm.
but having the sprint ceremonies.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, yeah. So they want they call themselves a Kanban team, but you have all the elements of a Scrum team.
Okay, so let's talk and so now so when I've been trained in terms of the word Kanban, it's supposed to be Kanban, like bonbon, because it's a Japanese
Yeah.
term. So
And,
let's talk about this, right?
mhm.
Um, Kanban has no meetings. It's not
Okay.
designed to have any meetings. So the first thing that Kanban does not have is the concept of an iteration or sprint. So
Interesting.
let's talk about the rest of the stuff that it runs, right? Um, the sprint is a container,
Yeah.
so everything happens inside the sprint.
Yep.
So that means if you're going to have sprint planning, daily scrum, sprint reviews, sprint retrospectives, they happen inside the sprint. So the
Okay.
first thing that's missing when you talk about Kanban is going to be you shouldn't be having sprints. Now, here's the deal, Caleb. A lot of people like to mix Scrum and Kanban together. And to me, I rarely see a pure Kanban. I always see some Scrum mixed in with it. Okay. And that's
Scrum.
okay. But the reason why you're doing it has to be apparent. And I guarantee you that whatever reason why they're doing it, they probably have no reason. So, have you been told what's the logic behind them calling Scrum Kanban? Any reason at all, man. I mean, I'm just curious. And here's why I'm
Yeah.
curious so you understand.
Yeah.
I've been in situations where I've been inside of organizations where Scrum was a bad term. And so we could not say the word Scrum and we would have to call Scrum by some other name. So for example, we were doing Scrum and we call it Lean Agile. It wasn't Lean Agile, it was Scrum, right? But we couldn't call it Scrum because the culture was against the word Scrum. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
what is the reason behind them doing it?
Um. So far, from what I can pick up, it's mostly because the team does more support work
I
than
understand.
development.
Okay. All right. And
Ye-
now that's a very logical reason, right? And a lot of times when I go inside of organizations, I have to do some Kanban for support work, for things like human resources,
Yeah.
legal, digital assets. Just I find many places because fundamentally they can't plan a sprint that
Yeah.
reasonably would get to the end of the sprint without everything changing. So
Yeah.
again, logically speaking, Kanban makes sense, or Scrumban, the combination between the two, would make sense. But now you're saying that they got all these ceremonies. Well, let's talk about the ceremonies a little bit. Well, now
Hmm.
you don't have a sprint, okay? Because you can't really function within a sprint, right? So now, if you don't have a sprint, what's the point of having sprint planning?
Now they're trying to incorporate a sprint.
Hmm.
in while using the flow of work Kanban, but they still
Well,
want to have it with
well,
sprints.
let's talk about that. Scrum doesn't say how you can describe your workflow. So you can do Scrum and then have your workflow say requirements, elaboration, design, development, testing, release. You can do that in Scrum. There's nothing about that because you're just describing a workflow. Your workflow
Yeah.
doesn't have to be not started, in progress, and done. I've had many Scrum boards that have described the workflow. So for me, that right there is a non-issue. The real question that you have to ask them is, can you plan a week-long sprint and get to the end of the week and things don't change? Do you understand the statement? So you got the scope you've committed to, and you can change the how you're going to get the scope done. But in terms of Scrum, the sprint is protected. And so theoretically, what you commit to shouldn't really change because you're trying to get the people that's doing the work an opportunity to finish it. And
Hmm.
by it being support, support is getting calls, support is getting tickets, support is
A
getting
lot of
new things coming in every day. Those
yeah.
things have a tendency to go to the top based on priority, based on the
Hmm.
severity of the problem, based on how frequent the problem is happening. So if you take severity and frequency and look at those two measures, that's what's going to push something higher, in a Kanban product backlog, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
now you got this protected sprint. You committed to 10 things. Now what happens when five new things go to the top of the list? You just broke one of the rules in Scrum. So the question becomes, why are they trying to lock down a period of time? I don't know. What's the reason?
Good question. And
But
I've
that,
struggled internally. I just didn't know how to phrase these questions correctly,
yeah.
and because I struggle with it because I don't know how a Scrum Master would function effectively
No,
in
no,
that
Scrum Master
environment.
can Scrum Master can function perfect because when you think about Kanban, you have to just think about your measurements of being different. I mean, so in Kanban, can you really have a velocity?
Nah.
It's much harder. You'd have to fake some consistent time boxes. You can just say whatever we do in a week time frame, that's going to be what our velocity is based on. You can find a way to fudge it up, right? But the idea is that naturally, velocity is associated with the concept of having sprints because
Yeah.
it's story points completed,
Yeah.
and that's a per sprint thing. So okay. So let's just say they want to do certain things, no problem. But realistically, when something comes into your queue, the most important thing to happen in Kanban is for you to get it out your queue. So realistically, what you should be measuring is cycle time.
Yeah.
So your measurements start to change. And so
Yeah.
realistically, it's not about the time box of a sprint. The time box or the time is much more granular. It goes down to the actual item level, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
And so, it's just different. And again, there's there's nothing wrong with doing Kanban. I'm just curious as to why they're trying to do Scrum when that may not be a good fit for them due to the nature of their work. And again, it could be. You know, here's an idea. Here's an idea. Now you tell me if I'm crazy, man.
Yeah.
If it was me and I was on site, um, I would say to them, "Hey, y'all, let's run a little experiment. Let's run a little experiment, okay? How about we dedicate 40% of our capacity to a 1 week sprint? And let's leave the other 60% of our capacity available for all the work that keeps coming in. And if
Okay.
they're able to, at the end of that week or 2 weeks or whatever it's going to be, for that, if that 40% of work that they committed to, of that 40% of capacity, if that doesn't change, then now you have something to work with. Because now you can say they have a sprint that didn't have to really change,
Hmm.
but they had the 60% that did. So now if that worked, can we make that a 50-50 at our next sprint? Can we make it a 60-40? Can we get it all the way to an 80-20? And then you really have an idea on how much work is truly changing all the time. And that would
Hmm.
allow them to be able to point things. That would allow them to be able to get a velocity because it sounds like they want to be able to get a velocity. It would allow them to be able to do some things that they can probably utilize to help them forecast, to do relative estimation, and everything else like that. So if you simply ran a small little experiment where you just took a portion of their time, that would prove to them and to you and to management whether this is a worthy thing for that team to do. What do you think about that?
I love it, actually. I love it. And
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking I would try. That's definitely what I'm thinking I would try. Yeah.
okay.
Um, yeah, yeah, because you don't want them wholeheartedly changing, and you want them to make small changes over time. And by doing a little
Yeah.
experiment, getting them to agree with an experiment, you're going to help them out tremendously. They're gonna win so much with this. They're gonna love you, man. They're gonna absolutely love you because of this. For real, for real. They're gonna really love you because of this. I guarantee you. If you do this for about a month and see how it works out, and then have a retrospective. Literally have a real retrospective and talk about how it went, and then see what they think. Do y'all want to continue? Do you want to, change that percentage? And then go from there. If you do that, I think it would be magical, man. I really do think it would be magical. I mean, I love it, man. I absolutely love it. It sounds really good to me. I could
uh,
be crazy, but for some strange reason I like my ideas.
so it's a brand new team, and this is the time to be trying to
Yeah,
do all the
yeah,
uh, experiments. So it's a perfect timing to give it a try. It's a brand new
yeah.
team,
Okay.
totally brand.
Yeah.
So
No, it
thank
sounds
you.
sounds amazing to me, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so
No
much.
problem, man. And you're welcome to come back anytime, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you
I
so much.
appreciate you. All
Have a
right,
good
have a
one.
good one. All right, y'all. That was another amazing conversation. I'm not sure if you understand. If you don't understand how the show works, that's how the show works. Um, love people coming on because we can really have a conversation and we can exchange. And that exchange is what the show is really about. This is what makes this show unique versus every other show that I've seen on the internet whatsoever. So make sure you do that. Now, I did have someone type in a chat, Azrael. I had him type in a chat. How do you claim them, those SEUs? You just go enter them in your actual dashboard. So if you're Scrum Alliance certified, you go enter into your dashboard. There's a way to enter your SEUs into the dashboard, into your dashboard. Once you log into Scrum Alliance, you do that, it will be a major, major, super duper plus for you. Okay. So nothing bad there. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to at least give you all how you earn SEUs, and I'm going to throw it in the chat for you because I think it's important. And again, this applies to the Scrum Alliance. It's what I know best, and so I'm going to give you what that is, and then you can move forward from there. Let's see. Here we go. So how about we drop this in the chats? And again, I'm just dropping them in the chat so y'all can have them. This gives you an idea of what an SEU is, just in case you don't know that. And then what I'll also drop in the chat is actually the claiming of SEUs. That will be another one of those pluses. So let me grab that as well for you. I'm not trying to not pay attention to you or make this look rude. I'm looking up because my screen is above me, so I want to make sure that I take care of it for you all so you have it. Let's see. One more thing for me to grab for you. Earn SUs. Let's see. Yes, there's always, you always get these links out in class. I actually got a class today. I guess I always have classes, don't I? I don't always have classes, but this is different types of SEUs, how to earn them. That's another thing that you want to really take a look at, and then I want to drop this on both places. So we're good to go. So now it's been dropped on LinkedIn. It's been dropped on YouTube in terms of the chat. So we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Hey, I appreciate it, Caleb. That's a wonderful and great thing. Oh man, this is my guy right here, Tom Meller. He says, "Hey, Scrum. You know what? I'm gonna say this. This is stupid, but I'm gonna say this. You see this guy right here, Tom Meller? See his name right there? See that guy right there? That guy named Tom Meller right there. He the one that introduced me to Scrum. Like literally, for real. This guy right here that I have on the screen, his name is Tom Meller. He introduced me to Scrum at State Farm. He told me to go get the certification. I just did what he told me to do. And then he was really crazy about it and really crazy about what he's doing. He's really dogmatic and he was crazy. And I thought he was really crazy. And I followed him. And I've been doing Scrum ever since. So Tom is the reason why. So I'm gonna say it to you a little bit different. He says, "Hello, Scrum brother." I'm comfortable in saying this. I'm really comfortable in saying this because I know you're hearing me, Tom. I'm gonna call uh I'm gonna call you my Scrum godfather. That's what you are for me, Tom. So you know, you're my Scrum godfather. I have people that call me Uncle D. You're my Scrum godfather. Like for real. I don't call Tom for nothing because I'm not gonna bother Tom. But I know if I call Tom, I know he would help me out, right? So that's my Scrum godfather right there. And you know, Tom was director of the Scrum Alliance at some point. We did good work at State Farm when I was there, and then I had to leave because they won't let me do nothing. Um, but I was a little project planner, you know. So Scrum, Scrum Godfather. That's what Tom is for me. So, and you know, with Scrum, with him being my Scrum godfather and being proud to be it, yes. And I've done everything to make sure that I don't embarrass you. that I that I make that the work that you did, you can see that I'm having an impact on the community in some kind of way. So that is my Scrum godfather right there, Tom Miller. You know, so yeah. So anyway, I wouldn't have been. Yeah, I literally, I yeah, you know, I would have never tried Scrum without Tom. And let me tell you why I would have never tried Scrum without Tom. It was free, man. This dude told me to go, he literally told me to go get a certification. It cost me, I think at the time, $1,400 because I had to go all the way to Chicago, had to stay in Chicago, had to go all the way downtown. Literally, it was stupid. And it cost me $1,400. But going to see Ken Schwaber completely changed my life. Literally completely changed my life, right? And if there's somebody who has stories, knows Ken and Jeff and all those guys really well, it's Tom. It's Tom. That's my guy right there. So thank you, Tom, as usual. I appreciate you, right? Um, so, you know, and he says agile project management, whatever, Tom. Whatever. That's my guy right there, seriously. All right, y'all. Well, I have another question here. Amber, I haven't seen you in a while, right? Um, let's see. Devon, I have a quick question for you. I'm having a hard time finding a job where they are true to Scrum. It seems to be mostly agile project management or agile methodologies. Um, I'm going to say to you, you're going to have a hard time. If I just be really honest with you, 99.999% of people out here saying they're doing Scrum is not doing ideal Scrum, period. So my statement to you is don't worry about it. Get to an organization that you feel like you can have some influence in and do your best to get them as close as you can to that place. Um, yeah, we may want to work with organizations that's doing perfect Scrum, but it doesn't always happen. It really, really doesn't. Okay. So I want you to be really cognizant that it's a hard find. Okay. It really, really is. And I'm going to jump out here, but hopefully that answers it. But literally, don't kill yourself for that one. Most people out here doing Scrum and taking something away from Scrum is what I mean by Scrum butt. Okay. Just so I can throw this out here, Ken, Tom says, Schwaber is my Scrum Godfather. Well, if Schwaber is your Scrum Godfather, Tom, then Schwaber by default that makes Schwaber my Scrum Godfather. So Schwaber is officially my Scrum grand godfather. That's what Schwaber is for me. Since he's your Scrum Godfather and you're my Godfather, Schwaber is my Scrum Godfather, grand godfather. Oh, that is so stupid, man. That is so stupid. All right, y'all. I need to pull someone else here in here, real quick. I actually enjoyed that. That was fun. All right, so I done did something crazy here. I don't know what I just did. So how you doing? Let me try to fix this. There we go. But I haven't fully fixed it right, so let me fix it one more time. There, here we go. There we go. How you doing, Miss Evelyn? Oh man,
Hey,
I done made you super
hello,
small
Uncle
somehow.
D.
Let me fix this little problem because I done made you super small, and now I gotta fix all this behind the scenes Windows stuff. There you go. I got you now. How you doing? How you been?
I've been doing great, Uncle D, and thank you for having me on the show. I was itching. Last week I was on vacation, so I couldn't join. But today I said, ooh, I need to talk. I still want
Okay.
to share with you. It's been 60 days, remember?
Okay. Okay.
When
Yep.
I came here, and you
Mm-hmm.
told me that I needed to do a retro after every 30, 60 days on me
Yeah.
with my teams.
Mm-hmm.
So I came here. I just wanted to share with you last week. I started doing one on one with my
Oh,
teams. The
okay.
first thing that you told me to do was to make sure I did the working agreements for the teams,
Mm-hmm.
and I did, and I worked with them. It's been accepted. Thank you to
Okay.
you, and thank you to all the input that I got from the community here.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second task now, I after 60 days last week, I started to do one-on-one with people. And from what I discovered, from what we were sharing today, is that we need to learn. We need to continuously learn. So I discovered that yes, whilst they think they are doing everything right,
Mm-hmm.
because like teams that have been doing Scrum for the last 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and because people come in, people go, but there are people who have been there for more than 10 years. And they, when I asked them on one, they were like, it's kind of like getting to that point where we know Scrum at the back of my head. So I just
Mm-hmm.
asked them 4 questions like, why do we do Scrum? Daily stand up. What is it? I got different answers.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan is I'm gonna go ahead and I talked to my manager on the 60 day when we did our chat for 60 days. So
Mm-hmm.
I told her that the next 30 days I'm gonna be doing my workshops to educate on different topics. So my
Okay.
first topic that I was gonna go with, correct me if it's gonna be, because this was one of the biggest things that I'm seeing we are falling short.
Okay.
Uh, Daily Scrum,
Okay.
explaining the daily Scrum. And that was one thing that I believe I can tackle, because from my one on one, people were like kind of like giving, instead of giving, sharing what they did, they like giving updates, the
Mm-hmm.
project status and stuff like that. So that's where I'm going to start.
Well, no,
But,
stop. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Okay. Now let me just make sure we're good. Okay.
okay,
Now you're gonna teach them based on the Scrum 2020 Scrum Guide, right?
yes,
Okay.
that's what
Now,
I'm planning on.
now I have a question for you.
Hmm.
In the Scrum 2020 Scrum Guide, is the Scrum Master supposed to be at the daily Scrum?
No,
Okay. And who gets to determine how the daily Scrum is run?
the team,
Now, when you say the team, who do you mean on the team?
developers.
The developers. right?
Yeah.
And so
Yes.
you got it, you got it. All you got to do is teach them now, and then you
Yes.
may want to make sure you have some, ways that you can teach them, or maybe you can have them come up with some of the ideas.
Yeah, I was gonna share with you so that you can give me some feedback on how
Okay.
can I do it, because it's gonna be my first. That's one thing that I said I'm gonna start with.
Okay. The first thing I would say to you is go with the information in the Scrum guide, and then you can also uh, maybe come up with some examples of how teams actually do it as well. And that'll be real easy to look up. Like some teams will use a round robin, for example. Some teams will, the last person that comes in a room is the first person that goes. So you want to figure out ways that you can give them that can be helpful for them, right? The times they're going to have it, the places they're going to have it, those kind of things will be helpful for them getting a leg up on starting to do it in the appropriate way. Also, making sure that they understand that it's not about solving the problem. If you really have a problem, just take whoever you have the problem, or whoever you need to be involved with that problem, and take it offline and solve the problem. If you need to escalate something to the scrum master, then go find them, go grab them, go get them. So really, I think if I'm you, here's what I would do: put something together and run it as an experiment. Try it that first time and make sure you get some feedback. See how people liked it, see what they like, see what they didn't like. And if I'm you, it's always good because you've been in my training, right? So
Yep.
what you
This
want to
is
make sure you do is have an activity or two. It's kind of one of those things where when you become a trainer, there's a book by a woman named Sharon Bowman called Teaching from the Back of the Room. Read that book. Read that
okay.
book. Okay. Sharon Bowman. Read that book. Okay. Now you read that book, that's going to help you improve your skills in terms of training. So if you read that book and you make sure you get some feedback, regardless of what you try to do, I'm more concerned about you getting the feedback and using that feedback and incorporating into your next training session. It doesn't matter whether the training session is on Daily Scrum again. If it's on a different topic, you still will get feedback from them that allows you to switch up or change what your next one will look like. So just make sure it's engaging. You've seen my training. Make sure that let me tell you this like this: make me proud when you do it.
Oh yeah.
And I think you'll do an amazing job.
Thank you, Uncle D. You know me. I always want to share what's happening, and you were the one who pushed me that 60 days ago to get into Scrum. I was a developer all these years after 2019 when I took your class.
Yeah. But
But
it's just you that just got to take that step, and you took that step, and now the fruits of your labor is showing up. You did
thank
that
you.
work.
But thanks to you, thanks for your support, because sometimes we need someone to push. That's why we need coaches, right?
Well, I'm here for you.
Thank you, Uncle D.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I also wanted to share another book that I
Hmm.
also read that helped me
Okay.
was Agile Retrospectives, Making Good Teams Great. That's the book that I've
Diane
been reading.
Larson, Diane Larson, Esther Derby.
Yes.
I love them. I'll tell you, they are both amazing women. They're both
Yeah.
amazing women. If you ever get an opportunity to meet them, especially come to the Scrum Gathering or Agile Alliance conference, man, they're all amazing. I'm going to tell you something. The women, there is something about women in Agile. Women have supported the Agile movement in such a way that is unbelievable. You don't see all these women. They always seem to be in the background, but I'm telling you right now, women have had an amazing impact. And I think you should definitely take time to get to know some of these women in Agile. And you all are growing and doing these things. I think it's just a super duper amazing thing. I absolutely love it. So yeah, so I'm proud of you. I'm looking forward to seeing in 30 days what this turns out to be, Because I know, well, I'm going to say I expect you to come back and let me know how it went. You promise
Sure,
you're going to do
definitely.
that?
Yes, 90 days. I promised you that I'll come back in 60. Now I'm back. And I was also wanting to come into your class this weekend.
You've been in my class before. Send me an email. Um,
Okay.
for the people may not realize this or know. Um, for Bearded Eagle alumni, you're always welcome to come back for a one-time review of the class that you took. So if you took the Certified Scrum Master class and you want to come back to get a refresher on it, then just send me an email and we'll get you in the
Thank,
class.
thank you, Uncle
So
D.
yeah, so just and the email is team at Bearded Eagle, so send me an email there, and then I'll make sure you get in the class and you get you all hooked up and we go from there. So literally, come back, right? So just make sure you do that. And again, for all of you all that are Bearded Eagle alumni, you should know this. We always welcome
Yeah.
alumni back. When the pandemic happened, I first started training back in 2013. I had somebody that was in my like fifth class that came back for a refresher in 2020. We're family,
Well,
and we try to treat people as family.
I know. I know. Thank you.
Okay?
Have a
All
wonderful
right then.
week.
You enjoy the rest of your evening and the rest of your week, okay? Thank you, Evelyn.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, that was amazing. That was super amazing. So I love to see when things like that happen. Okay. So I want to answer a couple other things. I'm gonna go backwards here. Hey P Bell, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. There you go. How you doing? Uh just for the next week is my ACSM, Advanced Certified Scrum Master. The link to it I'm dropping on LinkedIn and in the chat. Well, on LinkedIn, and I'm dropping it, let's see, on LinkedIn, and I'm dropping it on YouTube because Caleb actually asked me. So there you go. They're both there now. Okay. Let's see. Love how you give these challenges, Devon. I need some of them. You know what? We always do challenges, man. We even do we man, I got a few challenges coming up. Hey Crystal, how you doing? How you been? Let's see. Hey, that was good books. I love great books. Let's see. I get a high five here. I see you around, Tom. I always appreciate you, brother. I really, really do. Amber, there's never a need to be sorry. You come here whenever you feel the time. You come here whenever you need. The main reason why I did this was to put videos on YouTube so we can have a history of this, right? And people can refer back to it offline. So just know that's available to you. Other than that, y'all, I think it's about my time. I don't see any other questions in the room. I'm feeling good about the show. Hopefully, you enjoyed the show. And next week, I have an idea about a topic. I mean, what do you all think I should talk about next week? I'm thinking about it right now. And I want to change the topic. I don't even remember what the topic was that I want to talk about for next week. Um, but I want to talk about something really positive. I actually am interested in talking about Scrum Master stories from hell. That's what I'm interested in talking about. I don't know why that came up, but I'm interested in talking about really horrible Scrum Master stories that have happened to people. I love to have a conversation about that. But if you have any ideas, that would be great. And then we can go from there. But yeah, the Scrum Master stories from hell. Throw your topic idea out there. Would love that. Let's see, leadership and agile. Just send those topics across to me. I love it because look, I'm here for you. I really am here for you, and whatever we can do to make this better. Oh yeah, yeah. I never say this. Like and subscribe. So go to YouTube, subscribe, like, do all those great things because obviously that helps us. Uh, Oh, when leadership won't decide. Let's see. I see a couple of them. When leadership won't decide, communication and agile. We got leadership and agile. Those are great, all great topics. Yeah, I like them all, right? Prep work for new Scrum Masters. Oh, that's a good topic. That's a good topic. Yeah, that's a good topic. Let's see. All right, y'all. I think we're good for the night. So I am going to say, let's see, certifications for the sake of certification. That would be a fun one, right? That would really be a fun one. All right, y'all. Here's the deal. I think we're good for the night. I am going to continue. Let's see, how to balance Scrum and Agile. I like that one too. All right. So that being said, I think that's our time. I think that's our time. So here's the deal. Next week, we're going to do the same thing. We're either going to be talking about Scrum Master Stories from Hell, or I'm just going to pick a different topic. But you're always welcome to ask questions. And the good thing is, I actually love being here. As you see, I'm not at home. I'm not in my studio. No matter where I go, whether I'm in New York or Chicago or DC or in Cali or back down there in Texas, I'm going to be here. Only way I'm not going to be here is like when I called COVID. I was asleep. When I called COVID, I was asleep. But I'm gonna always be here for you. So make sure you join, and I'll find a way to get topics out of people, so and then we can talk about more and more stuff, and then we're just gonna go from there. Maybe I'll bring Tom on again, and he could tell us about some of his experiences because Tom has had some amazing. He's had Tom's had some, like I said, he's literally my godfather. And as he said, Ken is his godfather. So that means that Ken is my grand godfather. I like that. I really like that. In terms of lineage, I'm good to go with that. I always like having solid lineage. Is important to me. Like it's like important like genetics. So that being said, look, I really, really appreciate everything here. I appreciate y'all showing up. I want you to know that this show is nothing without you. Agile is nothing without you. Scrum is nothing without you. So I'm going to say to you, thank you for doing what you do, because Scrum and Agile is all free. And the only way it has become as popular as it become is because of you. So you all actually take the flag and you run the banner across the world. That's what you've done. And if it wasn't for you, Agile Scrum would not be where it is today. So my appreciation, my hats go off to you. On that note, I'm going to see you next week, this time, at this time, next week. So I'm looking forward to it. And yes, 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 P Bell, I have over 500 subs. This is true. I want to get to 1,000 though. That's the key. 1,000. So on that note, hey y'all, have a good night. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week, 8 Central. Have a wonderful night.